What's going on, MCU fans? Welcome back to the channel. This is my quick thoughts review of Hawkeye episode 5, which was pretty good, and that ending was insane, confirming Vincent D'Onofrio will return as Kingpin in the MCU. Brilliant. He is just perfect casting for that role. I'm glad to see that Kevin Feige has acknowledged the fan base for that Netflix universe and is now bringing them in to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and maybe even Charlie Cox. But we open up this scene with Florence Pugh's character of Yelena from the Black Widow movie, who is on this new mission by hunting down the Black Widows, which have been brainwashed and mind controlled, and then kind of reverting them back, giving them back their old memories. And they come across this woman and they give her the gas, which is supposed to change her back to her normal self and give her all of her memories, but this woman was not kind of brainwashed. She's just a regular Black Widow that assassinates people for money, and she lives in a big mansion, and she's pretty rich, and she just likes doing it for fun, and it's a good income. So that was a little bit weird, a little bit interesting, but they talk about it, and then we get to see from her perspective, Florence Pugh's character, her perspective of the snap. She's washing her hands and her hands just disintegrate into this dust, and then 5 years pass, of course, the Thanos snap and the wallpapers change, and she's like, what the hell's going on here? And she sees the woman again, but this time she has a husband and a child, and 5 years later goes up on the screen. So that was interesting. I love this. Kind of reminded me of WandaVision when we got to see Monica Rambeau, her kind of perspective of the snap as well, coming back into it and the chaos that happened with that. That was awesome. And then she finds out that Natasha is dead, because remember, she sacrificed herself in Avengers Endgame to save the world. So that was very interesting. Then we got Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop. She goes back to her mom. She's very upset. Clint told her to go away. He doesn't want to do it anymore because there's a Black Widow hunting them down, which is Elena, and things have gotten pretty serious. And then you have a scene where Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop goes back to her apartment and Elena's there. And this scene was actually pretty good. It was just dialogue heavy. And a lot of these episodes are dialogue heavy, but they're interesting. And I'm finding the show very interesting. It's called Hawkeye, but there's more scenes with other characters in Hawkeye. But Yelena, Florence Pugh is a brilliant actor. Haley Steinfeld, brilliant actress. They do awesome work here in this scene, talking about that Clint's a good guy, and that Yelena's like, no, he's not. He killed people. He murdered people. He's the reason my sister died. Why didn't he sacrifice himself? But she was hired by somebody to kill Clint, which is interesting. By the end of the episode, we find out who that person was that hired her. And we thought it was Val from Black Widow that hired, Yelena, but actually maybe there was something deeper to it. And then Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop tells her mom that Jack is around some sketchy business, and her mom, Vera Farmiga, calls the police. He's taken into custody, and Tony Dalton, who plays Jack, is just a fantastic actor, and every single line delivery is fantastic. But it looks like that Kate's mother was pinning a lot of stuff on Jack, which is my theory right now. Then we had Clint visiting this kind of Avengers monument of the original Avengers team from 2012 that saved New York, and he kind of talks to Natasha. So that was very sweet there. But then we got an awesome action sequence because he told Echo to meet him at the same location that Ronan killed her dad, because that's what Echo's big motivation is to kill Ronan, the person who killed her father. And we got an awesome action sequence here between Echo and with Ronan, which was Clint, which is Hawkeye. Really love this, and I'm actually excited for the Echo TV series that's coming to Disney Plus soon. But this scene was pretty badass. Some awesome shots, especially this one right here. Probably my favorite of the entire series so far, and definitely of this episode, of just Ronan holding the sword towards Echo, revealing why he killed her dad. And Clint's an Avenger, he's Hawkeye, but he did murder people when he was Ronan. And he reveals that, I was hired by your boss to kill your dad. Your boss wanted your dad dead, which is her uncle, who is Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. And then she doesn't like what she's hearing, and she turns the tables, and she's about to kill Clint. But then Kate shows up with her arrow and takes out the sword that Echo was holding, and then Clint and Kate escape. And then you have Echo, who's very suspicious of her surroundings right now, the team she's involved with, the people who've been close to her, because she thinks that maybe Hawkeye was telling the truth. Maybe it was Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, her family, that killed her dad, which was very interesting. And then Kate gets his text message, Kate Bishop, I found out who hired me, Eleanor Bischoff, thought you deserved to know, which of course Eleanor Bischoff is Kate Bishop's mom. And my theory since episode 1 was that she was actually the big bad villain for this series and not Tony Dalton's character. He was kind of a decoy because he has a mustache. Well, not really, but but I thought this was a nice reveal, and Kate gives the phone to Clint asking, who is this man that's meeting with my mother? And we all know who it is. It's Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, and he looks perfect. Absolutely brilliant. It's only a shot on a phone, it's only a picture, but next week we will physically see him interact with characters on screen in person, which will be awesome to see. So I'm excited to see this. Kevin Feige, big ups for bringing back Vincent D'Onofrio's character, bringing him into the MCU, and if you want to believe the rumors that, Daredevil, Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox is coming to the MCU as well. You might get to find that out now today if you watch Spider-Man No Way Home, or tomorrow is when I'm going to see it. I'm supposed to see it today, but I have to leave it till tomorrow. So he could be in the MCU as well. So it's pretty exciting what Kevin Feige is doing right now. Will we see John Bernthal's Punisher? Will we see Iron Fist? Who else could pop up and be a recurring character now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, now that Kevin Feige is opening to bringing the multiverse to the MCU, and also bring other actors who have played these characters before, which is just absolutely fantastic. Just to finish, I want to talk about a writing decision got to do with Hawkeye as a character. So he was an Avenger, he helped save the world. He lost his family, got to do with the snap, he became Ronin, a hired killer. Natasha brought him back, he helped the Avengers in Endgame to save the world, he got his family back, and he became Hawkeye again. But the Hawkeye TV series is supposed to be an exploration of his character, dealing with his past traumas and outings as an Avenger. He doesn't want this fame or this fortune or to be praised for being an Avenger. He just feels like he's doing the right thing. But also you have characters like Echo after him because he's the reason her dad died. He brutally killed her dad. And you have Yelena coming after him as well because he was there when Natasha sacrificed herself for humanity. But he kind of is given some leeway here about Echo's dad because yes, he killed Echo's dad. I thought maybe they would go in a different direction, that it wasn't actually him in the Ronin suit, but it was. But he kind of says it wasn't really my fault, I was hired to do it. And now you have Echo after Kingpin instead of Hawkeye. So I understand that she has this vengeance towards her uncle right now because he's the one that put the hit out on her dad, but Ronin, Hawkeye, Clint was still the person who killed him. So she should still have a vengeance towards him. I hope she doesn't lose that going forward, or she talks it out with Hawkeye, because for me, that's kind of a big kind of plot hole, or a big writing hole, whatever you want to call it, because Clint is an Avenger, he did some good stuff, but he also killed some people, and Yelena talks about that in the dinner scene that had macaroni and cheese kind of in this episode, which was pretty funny, but she talks about that, just because you're a hero doesn't mean you have to kill, doesn't mean when you do kill, it's okay. So I found that very interesting, but I hope that's not something that's just left to the side right now and all the blame is on Kingpin, or Kingpin brings this up and says, why are you after me? All of you people are killers. What makes me any different from you? Because in a way, he just seems to be kind of let off by killing Echo's dad, and I don't really like that part of it at all. But that's just a minor nitpick right now. Maybe in episode 6, the finale, they will cover those aspects, and then I will have nothing to complain about whatsoever, and this video will look stupid. But then again, we'll have to see in next week's episode, or maybe Hawkeye will get a season 2, or maybe it will be explored in the Echo TV series, which will be interesting. So something right now, it doesn't sit that well with me, but I thought this episode was pretty good. I'm looking forward to the series season finale next week, episode 6, and to see Vincent D'Onofrio's return as Kingpin. And there's a lot to wrap up, one episode to go. We had this problem with WandaVision, didn't really nail it. We had this problem with Loki, I thought that nailed it. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it had that problem as well. And I thought the finale of that series was a little bit rushed. So hopefully they can cover everything in episode 6 and close this story off in a way that is satisfying as a fan. But guys, what was your thoughts on Hawkeye episode 5 and the reveal that Vincent D'Onofrio is back in the MCU? Thanks for watching, guys. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.